going to teach you how to make a Morticia Addams inspired Batwing shirt out of a pair of tights. So I had these tights, and if you can't tell, they're super cool and super spooky. They're like a spiderweb pattern, and I wore them as regular tights for as long as I could, but because they were really cheap, the elastic stretched out, and before you knew it, I had really gross, weird, kind of baggy legging kind of things, and they were obviously textured, but you couldn't tell that they were spiderwebs, which is the whole point of wearing them. So I decided to took the tights and I turned them into a shirt. That's pretty easy to do. You just cut off the crotch, cut off the feet, and boom, it's a shirt, right? And it worked at first, but then I ended up having the same problem as I did by trying to wear them as tights, where the sleeve part was all super baggy and you couldn't tell, except for like where my collarbones and like my shoulders are, that it was spiderwebs. So I'm like, okay, I'm not really sure how I can show off this really awesome pattern without like doing anything too drastic, and I really don't want to do any sewing. I can sew, but I'm pretty lazy. Trying to figure out what I could do about that, and I came across the idea. A lot of people were like, if you had a big box t-shirt, they would cut down the sides and then they do ties all down it. It was really cool, spooky pattern. I bet I can, make it look not ratchet and actually pretty spooky. What I did is pretty simple, and all you need is a pair of scissors. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Also, you can either just leave the ties as is, or you can like stretch them and pull them out so they're a little more like tassel-y and hang down a little more and look a little more ragged. See the difference? Maybe you can. I don't know. So that's what you can do with it. There you go. Just so you guys know, this is the best quality microphone I have right now, so bear with me. Okay, first you need to determine how much excess fabric you have, and that's going to help you determine how much to make your cuts. I want my shirt to fall about at my knuckles, so I'm going to start my cuts accordingly. And here I have a lot of give here, and my cuts are going to be about yay long. As you can see on the other side, it's completed. I have holes all down the bottom, and you can make your ties accordingly. I want my seam following up to my thumb. Find the seam on your tights, and use it as a guideline to help you make your cut all the way down the arms. I want my seam on the inside of my arm, but you can have yours in another direction. The seam is going to help you guide your cut so it's not all zigzag. I want mine about an inch to the left because that's going to get my ties to fall where I want them. So you just cut it down. Okay, there you can see my awesome pattern. Now fold the two pieces back together almost like you had never cut it, and lay your arm against the edge so you can see how far down you're going to make your cuts. At my wrist, I want it to fall about here. So slice, and then double check. That looks good to me. Okay, and there you can see you have two ties to start out with. I want it tight on my hand, so I'm measuring it at my wrist because I know I'm going to pull it up a little bit. Okay, now you just make the rest of your cuts down your shirt, and stopping every once in a while to make sure your strip lengths are right. Knows what I'm talking about. My strips by the wrist are much longer than the ones by the upper portion of my arm.
and that's going to give me my desired fit. My wrist is much smaller than the upper part of my arm, naturally, so just a comparison there. Now, when you make your cuts by the upper portion of your arm, don't cut all the way. You're going to want to stop where I just pointed. I'll tell you that later. Okay, now's the fun part. Now's where we start tying. You're going to make sure you keep some fingers stretching the hole of where your arm's going to go. That's going to keep the size of your ties where you need them. Okay, I secured one. Let me double check. And that's where I like it. Fits not good. Okay, now you just tie all of them. And you're gonna stop close to your underarm because this part's a little tricky to tie. Okay, there you go. See, my tassels are just the way I like them. That works out good for me. You can have your the hand part two ways. You can have it loose hanging out and all the way forward, or two, you can stick your thumb through one of the many holes and you can scrunch it on the top a little bit and have the snug kind of gorilla glove thing up.
Let us claw in the mud. Let us swing with both fists as we writhe in the blood.
Okay, here is where I stopped cutting for the underarm, and it's really difficult to cut it while you're wearing the shirt. So you have to kind of keep putting your arm back through and stopping to make sure your lengths are right, because, I don't know, it was kind of difficult for me.
Uptown they sprinkle sweetener, nectar for the cups. And
this ended up being too difficult to cut properly. My scissors weren't very sharp, so I ended up yanking my arm out through the sleeve again, and kind of putting it back on, trying to cut it, double checking that the length was right, but putting it back on again, taking it off. It was kind of a hassle, and honestly a bit annoying. Alright, there, I finally got it. Okay, and I'm tying a couple to make sure it's where I want them.
It's always prettiest after the fall.
Testing it out. Still baggy under the arms. I don't really know what to do with the excess fabric. I just kind of tucked it under. It's not super pretty, but I don't think anyone's staring at my armpit, so hopefully no one can tell too badly. If you guys know a better way to kind of sort the top part out, please let me know in the comments. That'd be lovely. But there you go. There's my shirt. It didn't take too long. And once I got the hang of it, you know, I picked up speed. So there you go. That's how you make a tights shirt. That